have a candidate from Congressional District 6. We actually have quite a few with us tonight. We're going to start with Tyler Vandenberg. Vandenberg, are you with us? I see his name.
Hello, yes, I am.
There you are. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. So good evening to everyone. Thank you all for hosting me this evening. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces here. For those of you I have not met before, hello. Many of you will probably remember me as the candidate who was working to unseat Kevin Kiley way back in the day before Prop 50. My race has continued, of course, since redrawing in the California 6th, and I am so happy to see my friends Sean and Jaron and Lauren and the other candidates from the CD6 race who will be on here shortly. A little about me. My name is Tyler Vandenberg. I am a 7-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I was a Jeopardy champion and currently working on finishing up my Master in Public Policy degree from the Harvard Kennedy School. I apologize for maybe some background noise or the kind of rough and ready surroundings and lighting. I'm calling you from downtown Sacramento, where I have just left a rally to support Ukraine on the 4th anniversary of their invasion by Russia. I'm running on a very simple platform of 3 pillars, the things that I think we need to achieve in the next 2 years, rain or shine. These are the no-fail things that we have to get to make a better California and a safer America. The pillars go like this. Pillar number 1, I believe it is time that we properly dig in our heels and fight back as hard as possible against the Republicans. This, to me, means that we need to use Congress's full powers of impeachment, of investigation, of subpoena. Congress has constitutional powers of arrest it has not used since the 1930s. I believe that we need to bring those back because we have to show strength and impose consequences on Trump and on his cronies for their corruption and their crimes against the Constitution. However, I also know that it's just not enough, especially in Placer County, right, with lots and lots of Republican-friendly or Republican-curious voters, to go to the voters and say that we're going to fight with the president all the time. So my second pillar is that we have to offer a positive vision of the future that folks can believe in. I'm so happy to have heard healthcare come up on this call already. I am a big believer in healthcare for all, whether we deal with Medicare for all nationwide, or if we can't get the votes for that right away, we can do a healthcare system here in California. And in Congress, I'm committed to getting the federal money to help California pay for that system. I believe that we need to build homes for every generation, young to old. Everyone deserves to be able to afford a home that they can build their American dream in and settle their family in for the long term. I believe in building a green grid, not just because it's cheaper to put in solar panels for energy costs, not just because it's the right thing to do for our climate, but because we burn our state down, particularly in the rural areas, every single year now with our rickety old power infrastructure. I believe in investing in our rails as well as our roads. That means our high speed, our regular speed rail, in investing in our local transit systems to give people real commuter choice. I believe in investing in our K-12 education to make it the best funded anywhere in the country, as well as investing in our UCs, CSUs, and community colleges, not just to bring tuition down, but also to plug some of the gaps caused by Trump's illegal cuts to science and medicine. And finally, I believe in securing Social Security for future generations. This is an earned benefit people work all their lives for. We have to be sure that it's there long into the future for our retirees, for those who are disabled, and for those who are unable to work. Finally, the third pillar, it's very simple to me. This one's a moral one. America should be a safe place for every one of our neighbors. What that means to me is we need to fight as hard as possible for our immigrant neighbors to feel safe in our communities. That means abolishing and dismantling ICE and prosecuting them for their abuses. But I also believe that women should have the right to have private conversations with their doctors again. We need to defend the right of women to vote from the SAVE Act and Republican encroachment. We need to ensure that every single member of our LGBTQ plus communities is protected, including our trans kids and trans adults. We need to ensure that people can go to work without fear of retaliation or unsafe working conditions. And we need to be sure that people of all faiths, colors, creeds, and backgrounds are safe to worship in our country and feel safe representing themselves as who they are in public. These are my no-fail priorities. Obviously, as a Marine Corps veteran, I have lots of thoughts on, say, foreign policy or other wider issues. But these 3 pillars, I believe, are the no-fail things that Congress must achieve in the coming term if we are to build a better America and a safer California on the other side. So I look forward to your questions, and thank you for having me here this evening.
Very good. Thank you, Tyler. Okay, so do we have any questions for Tyler? Anything that you want to ask him? Okay, until the hands get raised, I have some questions here
Absolutely.
that we can ask you. How do you or would you evaluate and deal with views and opinions from your constituents that may differ with your own?
Sure. What a great question. A representative in Washington must be a representative for everyone, whether they voted for them or not. It is a responsibility of whoever goes to Congress to represent us to listen to views that are not their own, to try to incorporate them and to represent them strongly. One of the biggest criticisms I have of Kevin Kiley, who may or may not be running in our district, we'll find out, is that he's not a listener. He doesn't do those things. He locks his office door. He refuses to hear from his constituents if they differ with him. And he's mostly just willing to hear supporters and people who are inside his own echo chamber at the expense of all his other constituents. What I would say about incorporating the views of my constituents is it is always a delicate balance for a representative to, on the one hand, listen to every one of their constituents, and two, to fight for the things that are right. And my guiding star for what a representative should do in Washington is to ensure that the most amount of people are being protected and receiving benefits and getting a better, safer America the most amount of the time. I don't have an answer for every single question, but I know where my morals are. And I know that I want to make sure that I'm a representative for all Californians. And that will be my guiding principle in office.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Beth, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Beth.
I am finding myself getting further horrified and disgusted with the information that's being released in the Epstein files.
Yep.
What is it going to take to hold those people accountable for what they've done, not only to those young women, but apparently it seems in trading state secrets for money, and that's part is all very unclear to me. But what do we do to hold these people accountable?
Beth, I'm so happy you asked about this and about this particular angle of it, because I think this gets lost a lot, right? The crimes of the Epstein files against young women, underage women, against individuals who were in a position of no power vis-a-vis these insanely powerful billionaires and their most influential backers and people in their circles. These crimes are horrifying enough. But something that I have been realizing as more and more of this becomes released to the public is that the abuses of, say, Russiagate and the abuses of the Epstein files interlock, and they are all the same story. Powerful, usually white men getting away with abusing both the countries that they are from and the people who are supposed to be their fellow citizens, particularly those who are most marginalized, who are in positions not to be able to fight back with the justice system. This, to me, requires the strongest possible response from our Congress. Arrests are, in many cases, the first step, but there are things that we need to do to ensure that the American people understand the full scope of the abuses that are happening. Something that Donald Trump has felt he could hide behind is all of these redactions, right? It's almost a parody of itself, how much of these files are blacked out, how much we do not know, how much we do not see. But a fun thing about the powers of a representative in Congress is the speech and debate clause, which says that no member of Congress may be held accountable criminally or otherwise for anything they say in the official course of their duties on the floor of Congress, which is why on my first day, I look forward to asking the Justice Department for the full unredacted copies and beginning to read them into the congressional records so we actually know what is in the Epstein files. What we do from that space forward, I believe it will require the full powers of Congress and the Justice Department and our court system, which besides the Supreme Court remains relatively intact, to hold these people accountable, but imposing consequences for their abuses must happen immediately, or they will try and they will succeed, history tells us, in getting away with it again if we don't act. So thank you for that question.
Very good. Very good. Any other questions? Okay, yes, Lauren, we've got about 50 seconds left. Go ahead with your question. Okay, you're still on mute. Still, there you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to make mine quick. How can we prevent people from interfering in the election results, like
Mhm.
the 2024 election, the 2016 election, with votes being bought or people being threatened, essentially, to either be too scared to vote or stuff like that.
Wow, a question that deserves more than the 4 seconds that I have. So what I will say, Lauren, is I would love to follow up with you offline about this, and I would love to provide a fuller answer because I think this is extremely important, and I can't do it the justice it deserves right now.
Fair enough.
Sorry,
That's good.
We'll
Okay.
follow up. Thank
Yeah.
you,
All right.
Lauren. A great question. Thank you, Tyler. Very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. I can be
Thank
reached
you.
at www.tv4ca.com, and my email is in the link tree if you have any questions that you'd like to follow up with. Thank
Yeah,
you
go
all for
ahead
your
and drop
time.
that in the chat too.
Absolutely, I will.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
send it out.